Welcome to this one video. Thank you so much for joining this one video. We are going to talk about something that nobody else talks about, that I haven't heard anyone talking about these three things, because if you think the title of this video is three things your students need to know from you. And I have been a fascinated person when it comes to learning from businesses, observing businesses, how a community is working, how a business is working, how a business is treating a customer, and how it's supposed to be treated. So there are two different things. When you go to a shop and the way you're treated, that's one thing. And the way you are supposed to be treated from that business. For example, you go to a grocery shop, how are you being treated, and how are you supposed to be treated? Two different things. So in this one video, I think me being an observer all the time, I have learned a lot of things from a lot of businesses, and that's why this video is something that I've not found anywhere. And we are going to talk about three things your students need to know from you. Like the moment they become your students, or the moment they are not students, or they want to become your students, or this category can be they are already your students, they want to be your students, meaning they are not your students. So it can apply to these two categories. So they need to know stuff from you. Before even you going out to buy stuff, you need to be knowing these three things. From your perspective, you need to be knowing these three things. Now, three things. Point number one. By the way, thank you so much for joining this one video. Point number one is, first is a game plan. Game plan for me is very important. When you tell me what are the things I should be doing, it becomes easier for me to consume. For example, I am doing workouts. Now, these workouts were started way back in January and way back in September 6th of September. And I just did random workouts of 10 minutes HIIT because I thought that is going to give me abs. 10 minutes of workout a day. And it just did not work out. So I was doing workout. I was putting in work. I was putting in effort. I was sweating like anything. I wasn't losing much weight. I was doing cardio, but I wasn't doing, because I wasn't following a specific game plan. Was it my mistake? Oh, 100%. I did not know the plans existed from that person. What later on started to happen is in the month of January, when I started working out again, this time I had a game plan. Okay, that person that I started working out with, that guy had a chart, 14-day weight loss challenge. And each day he had two workouts to be done. 20 minutes each, sometimes 30-20 minutes each. Oh God, I was drenched from sweating, and it was one of the most horrible and most beautiful days, because that started the fitness journey. Fitness journey has always been a part and parcel of the whole journey. But then, I remember that those days when it started from second week of January all the way to 13th, I lost a lot of weight just because I was following that game plan. Point being, I used to do workouts back then as well. From September, October, now 3 months I did workouts, 86 days consistently. I did lose weight, but then not lots of it. But when I followed just 14 days of game plan, what was missing then was a game plan. What was not missing here was what was perfect over here was a game plan. What the point here is, when someone joins a community, or when someone wants to join your community, tell them what they have to be doing. A game plan is nothing but giving them guidance on what they have to be watching next. You are the expert. You have experience. You have knowledge. You have got skill sets and what you're doing. People don't have that. I want to lose weight. That person had knowledge. That person has lost weight. That person has experience, skill set, knowledge, experience, all cool stuff. I did not had all of that. What I want to do is, I just had I want to lose weight. That's my goal. Now, that person gave me game plan. Okay, follow this. Now when you give me that, okay, I'm now trusting you, and trusting you that you're going to give me results. Certain people give you results, certain people don't give you results. That's different story. Point number one is giving your students, want to be students, or your students game plan, no matter what stage they are in. And why do you think we have index in the starting of the book like that? Gives a structure, context set. Point number one. Second point. Second point is an interesting point. Is accountability. You cannot go anywhere if you don't have accountability. Accountability comes in two places. It's self accountability. It's someone else holding accountability, and both are one of the most powerful things. Both of them, not just one. But when you start off your own journey, you are your own boss. Now, being introvert is a journey. Being an introvert entrepreneur is another journey. You are your own boss. You start procrastinating. For example, you left the job, start entrepreneurship journey. You start procrastinating. If you've left your studies and start entrepreneurship, you become so procrastinating. You do so much procrastination. You become so lazy. Like you are not even lazy inside within you, but then you just tend to procrastinate so much and become lazy, and you get overwhelmed. A lot of things, you get stuck, you get lost, and so many cool things happen. Not so cool things happen. Negative things happen, which always pulls you back. That's why accountability for someone who's close, who is near and dear to you, really comes into picture. Now, you are lucky if you have that one person. Take that person, value that person, be grateful for that person. Point number one. Point number two, if you don't have anyone, start journaling things. Journaling as in start tracking things, so that it's like, okay, I did day 1 workout, I did day 2 workout, I did day 3 workout, I did day 4 workout. Okay, you didn't work out on day 5. When you track it, you're going to feel miserable about it. Then you start day 1 again, then day 2 again, day 3, day 4, day 5. You'll go all the way to day 50. So these two things, self-accountability and also accountability from your near and dear ones, who understand you, who are in the same wavelength, it helps you move forward. Now the best thing here is, in this context, is you need to hold your members accountable. You tell them, I am going to hold you accountable. And one of the ways of you doing it, when someone asks you a question, keep on following up with them. That's you holding them accountable. What this will set inside your community, the tone inside the community is, okay, Fazal have asked you a question today. You are now going to keep me accountable for what I have asked. And people might be scared to ask you questions because, in other words, you are going to hold them accountable. Is it good for them? Oh, yes. And people who are going to ask you questions, now they are expecting that accountability from you. That will set the tone and that will speed up the process. The only thing that stops you and slows down your pace is accountability. If you lack accountability, self-accountability, near and dear accountability, and the coach, mentor accountability, your speed kind of slows down very drastically. If you have them, you go very fast. Point number 2. Third one is, how are you going to help them build the momentum? Point 3 is all about momentum. When you join the community, when you join the Academy of Arts and Sciences, 2 things that I talk about. Now I talk about 3 things. Game plan, how do you go and achieve that? Accountability, we have in-house accountability system. We have in-house built momentum. Like, if you do something today, the third rule that I have for fierce entrepreneurs, the third rule that I've got is starting something abruptly. When you start something abruptly, you have more, you're kind of more capable, and you're kind of more courageous in a way that you have started something abruptly. When you start something abruptly, you already have won the fight with yourself, and that will start build the momentum. And the coolest thing about that is, the momentum should not break. You always emphasize on these 2 things. See, these 3 things within your community. Whenever you're communicating with the community, whenever you're having a conversation, one-to-one call, the group coaching, however that is, whatever that is, talk about these 3 things. This is the game plan that you're going to have. This is the game plan that you need to be following. Point number 1. This is the accountability system that we have got. Point number 2. Point number 3 is, this is how you can build momentum. Keep on talking about these 3 things like 1,000 times to them. It's just like one of the things that 2 things that I have in my own course acquisitions: accountability and momentum. Because momentum is one of the most important things when it comes to any journey that you pick. You wanted to start drinking water on a daily basis, like a certain liters on a daily basis, start tracking it. Once you start tracking it, you'll exactly know when you're feeling it, when you're drinking, when you're exceeding the limit, when you're not exceeding the limit. And when you keep on tracking it, you'll be able to see the momentum. Okay, this was when the momentum started, this was when the momentum was high, this was like. So these 3 things the student needs to know: game plan, accountability, and how are you going to hold them accountable. That's on you. I've kind of given you hacks and stuff like that, but then sit and work on it, because these 3 things, once you have these 3 things rock solid, how do you build things rock solid? Is with practice and experience. First time you will do it and you'll fail. Second time you'll do it and they'll fail. Third time you will do it and you both will fail. Fourth time you will not be able to fail, because now you've already failed 3 times. Remember? So you do these 3 things, and you do these 3 things. Let people know these 3 things on a regular basis, if not daily basis. When you do this, let that sink in them. Let that sink in you. Let that also sink in me. Because it's one of the coolest things that I was having a conversation with one of the members yesterday. And I was like, okay, these are the three things I was doing. I was closing a high ticket call. And these are three things that I myself further is going to give it to you. We are going to have a strict game plan, a strict accountability system, and a strict momentum. If you want abbreviations, the way I do it, GAM, GAM, game plan, accountability, momentum. That brings us to the conclusion of this one cool video when it comes to three things people need to be knowing dramatically. Three things people need to be knowing, the students need to be knowing, done industry. Thank you so much. I am going to see you in another exciting video. May peace and blessings be upon you and your loved ones. تسر أسارير وجه صبيح